Guys, would you just look at it? It's all dusty from sitting under my little carport for a couple days. It's got some bird poop, and you know, it's a barn find, or it was, right at the beginning of this whole process. So welcome back to Little Stu's restoration. I bet y'all didn't think that when we started this process it's going to come back looking like this. Yes, it's missing a lot of parts, and yes, you're seeing when this video is getting uploaded, ideally, if you're watching this in the first couple days. And we have 1 week to put this car together to take it to Deals Gap. So Calvin did a heck of a job. Cannot thank him enough for getting this car done to go to Deals Gap, because that was the whole goal. I'm trying to open this door and struggling. I think I've restored enough first gens to know how to open a door without a door handle. Calvin crushed it on this thing. Look at the doors, it's jammed. He even did some pour 15 in the floor for me. Don't worry, this has got to get cleaned up. It runs and drives, or I guess we'll say it runs, okay? I didn't have a battery handy to stick in it. It's in the RX7, and Richard's car is in his car, so I need to get a new battery for this. No big deal. But the clutch, master cylinder, and slave have been bleeding off and not staying. So it'll start and drive around. No, we didn't restore the engine bay. So for the Aussie guys out there that watch this, that y'all build super detailed, bad mamma jammas of cars, sorry. This one didn't get a rotisserie restoration. Lipstick on a pig is what you're going to say. Fresh paint, no engine bay paint. But my buddy DJ, who is getting this car to drive to Deals Gap, we traded Cosmos for it. So the reason I have a 76 Cosmo and Calvin has a 76 Cosmo is because we traded those two cars for the like semi-restoration of this car. Which, I mean, for most people this is a restoration, but in my head a restoration is what I did to the rally car. It's like flip it upside down, paint everything, make it perfect. But anyways, yeah, I'm sorry to the Aussie guys. We didn't paint the bay. The engine didn't come out. It's not rusty, but it's also not clean. So DJ's job, you can get this paint color in a rattle can. He can pull the engine bay apart and paint it and make it look nice. But until then, it's a car show with the hood down car, you know? Which, hey, a lot of people are. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, I guess. So I'm amped. This was going to be a chassis for me. I was going to take the Mouse, my old 1980 SA, and rebody it into this. And I just thought the Cosmo was cooler and I could find another first gen, so I got rid of this one. And I'm kind of not really regretting my decision, but dang, this thing looks good. It would look super good on my BBS LE wheels, and man, fresh. First gen door creak. You restore the whole car, door's still gonna creak. So I have boxes of parts for this thing. The most of it is up here in the rafters. Another big chunk of it, actually that's the RX7. This is most of the first gen up here in the rafters. As far as interior bits, wiring bits, the whole dash. We're actually not going to put the original dash from this car back in it. I have another dash for a first gen that's way better, that's sitting up there. That will go in this one. Just a black dash with less cracks. It's got, you know, this. We're just overviewing this right now, and we're going to get the clutch master and the brake master cylinder replaced. But I've been stockpiling parts, so clutch master and slave cylinder or something, brake master cylinder or something. I think I ordered everything. I got a big order from Atkins sells all the rubbers for this car besides the door outers. So I've got new outer window seals which go here. The felts, window track felts, were good for this car, so we're reusing those. I've got a complete new set of windshield trim for the car. Well, not the trim, but I've got a complete new set of windshield trim clips for the car. I got brand new door seals, outers for the car. So we got to get all that stuff installed. There's going to be a video called like installing rubbers on your RX7, because that would be a funny title. And that. There is a whole windshield, which you'll laugh. I'll go get it and show it to you here in this next clip, because I got to figure out a way to cut it out. But one of my parts cars, we literally sectioned the whole windshield out of it so that I could cut that glass out and glue it into this one, because we got to put a windshield back in this car because this one was cracked. There's brand new carpet for it. We literally have everything. Guess I'm not going to say everything. We have mostly everything brand new to put this back together. And it's really one of those deals that, like, I wanted it to be, if I'm going to restore it, right? And this is the same way Calvin is with paint. And I've pushed Calvin a little bit out of his comfort zone on when we did Charles' truck and when we did my rally car, in that Calvin likes to do, and I do too, we like to do a really, really, really good job on stuff and make it perfect. And there's a timeline, you know, there's a how much is somebody paying for it, and then there's also, like, what are you going to use it for? All those questions you got to ask, and that takes into consideration the product you put out, right? So Charles' truck was really the first truck that we ever, like, that Calvin kind of ever, like, fully restored, that we took it down to metal and painted everything. This first one that I really did like that. The rally car was a race car, so it was fix it really good, which Calvin did a really good job on that, better than it really deserved, but that car was epic, and we did a really good job on that car, and this car is just the next level of those three, you know. Calvin worked on a couple other things before then in that, in between then the race car and this, but man, he did all the body work on this. He did all the spray gun work on this, all the primer work, everything he did himself, and he crushed it. It looks so good. So good. Because now I can't wait, right? You know, you learn each time you do it. He's like, I could have done Charles' truck way better now. Well, yeah, but when we did it, that was the best we could do in the time we had. And this thing, I can't wait for the next car Calvin restores and the next car Calvin paints, because it's just going to get, the product is going to just keep going and going and going. Anyways, enough about Calvin. I'm going to go grab that windshield. We're going to try to get this master cylinder and slave cylinder removed and get the fresh ones installed. And that should make this car, like, runner driver movable. And then I've got a fresh carburetor for this too that Charles rebuilt for it. A Nicky back here, stripped, 79 Nicky, the big one. So we'll get that slapped on here. And then from there, it's literally just static bits. We've got to assemble everything. So let's just get to work. Alright guys, you need to pay attention to this right now. This is a very important piece of information for RX7 owners, okay? Especially 1979 RX7 owners and 80. 1979 and 1980 RX7s have coarse thread brake lines and clutch lines. 1981, they went to fine thread. So, if you buy a brake master cylinder for an 84 RX7 and try to put it in your 79, you're going to have to change all the fittings on the hard lines in your car. Same thing if you try to put FB calipers on your car, you're going to have to change all the fittings. Make sure you get coarse threads. I tell you that because this is actually coarse thread and it's the right bit. So we're going to stick this baby in here, fold this thing down, and we're ready to rip. Oh, I forgot something. I gotta show you guys the windshield. And we'll talk through the brake. Alright guys, this is a windshield for RX7. Now, y'all are gonna appreciate this level of detail right here, because you can still get aftermarket windshields for these, or you can find them, and they have a black trim around the outside, right? And then they typically have a blue, like a GSLC, or a newer one has a blue tint across the top. For those people who are like me, you want things to be right, we're going to do it. We're going to do it right the first time. A 79 RX7 would have a gold tint at the top. You can see it in here, barely. It's kind of hidden by the wood. This a factory windshield for a 79. We got it out of the car. You can see it's even got a VIN number in it, SA22C 5700. That's actually pretty funny. I think that was an option to get your glass VIN numbered. There's a guy that I know, his name is Josh. He's who I got my 99 car from. He has a GSLSE that all the glass is VIN numbered. So he'll know more about that than me, but this is cool. Anyways, the purist in me restoring this car meant that if I'm putting a windshield in it, we're putting an original windshield back in because I want the gold band. Now, you're like, well, why do you want the gold band? You're just restoring it for your friend. Well, here's the deal. If this car ever comes up for sale, I'm buying it. And that's part of this whole transaction, is that I'm restoring this car kind of how I would do it. Now, I would do it better, but I would do the, rotisserie restoration on it. Anyways, if it was for me. But for now, this is good. This gets most of the hard work done. Gets the car running and driving on the road, and you can tear it up. But I don't think it'll ever come up for sale. My buddy loves this thing. But if it does, dibs. So it's getting a factory glass put in it. Anyways, that's a long story for something I could have mentioned in 42 seconds. Pressure bleeder. If you don't have one, get one. It's like the best thing ever if you're a single car guy. And I'm here by myself, so I have to bleed brakes myself, and it's kind of hard. I've used my broom to hold the pedal down. Charles let me have his pressure bleeder. He got another one. And this thing works wonders. So you hook it up, put like 10 pounds of pressure on it, open the bleeder, it all pushes all the air out. You may have to pump the pedal, maybe 2 pumps and bleed it once or twice after that, which you can do if the pedal's still spongy, but I have a super firm pedal. The other thing that you're going to notice in the background is that I wiped this car off, and holy cow, if I didn't say it already in the video, which I know I did, dude, Calvin crushed it. This thing looks so good. So good. This door was tan, so now when we put it together, it's blue now. Painted the door frames black from the factory. They're black like that. And it looks weird if you have them painted to match. My yellow rally car, they were painted to match. Now that the brakes are bled, clutch is bled, we've got a good clutch pedal. We got to swap this carburetor out. So, this carburetor got rebuilt. Probably, heck, Charles can correct me in the comments below. I'm going to venture a guess that we rebuilt this carburetor 2 years ago. I think it got rebuilt 2 years ago. We were going to put it in this car. One of the days we had a bunch of Rotary people at my house, and then we never did. And then it got put on when I revitalized it a while back. And I think the floats are sticking. Actually, I know the floats are sticking. So instead of messing with this carburetor at all, because Charles builds these things and is really good at it, we're just going to swap it out. Take your fancy air cleaner off. Let's grab the fresh one. So this is a fresh Nicky 79, early model. All the block offs on it. I think it has mechanical secondaries because there's no vacuum secondary on this. Maybe it still has the vacuum secondaries hooked up. I don't know. Either way, I think it has mechanical secondaries. Charles will know. He's got all sorts of custom stuff going on in this thing. Tested, good to go. Ran on Charles's engine stand. Everything's blocked off and ready. Slap this baby on. Full emissions delete. So, for you guys that are asking about rat's nest delete and this, that, and the other, I had already done that on this car and removed basically everything, but I did leave the choke. This one is going to have just a full mechanical choke. So, you'll pull the choke lever, but it won't stay open, I do not believe. And that's this right here. Choke action. Okay? So, full deleted, which is good. This car, if you didn't watch the original build series, I know there's a lot of new guys watching these videos, and I super appreciate it. So I refreshed this car before Christmas. I say refresh. I dug it out of my yard, and I got it running. We wired it for 8485 style ignition, so it has, I did away with the points. We got all that on it. We changed the oil. We compression tested it, made great compression. I still need to pull the air pump off, but it's on there for now just to keep the water pump spinning. And there's a few other things that, and really I might just keep the air pump on for now, because with the air pump on and the stock exhaust stuff going on, that kind of keeps, because it has a stock thermal reactor and all sorts of craziness going on down there, which we couldn't find a header in time, and I wasn't going to sacrifice my spare one, so it's got stock exhaust on it. But that can be changed out later. Anyways, carburetor swap. I'm fired up. This thing still has all the AC componentry in it. And then also, hopefully, tonight, I'm going to swap that carburetor out. I think we can start it today in this video. Actually, I don't want to start it because I don't want to smoke out the shop just yet. We'll wait to start it until we have like everything done. The other thing I need to fix, the trans mount on this car is jacked up, and I kind of jerry-rigged it in there with some bolts and some washers to hold it, but I need to get or take some, I have some bushings for my RX7, which I probably won't ever put in, or if I do, I'll just get new ones. But I have these bushings here, and I think I'm going to cut some slivers out of this and make new trans mount bushings. It needs the bushings that go between the trans mount and the tunnel. So you can kind of see, not really where it's braced up in there, but just in front of the seats. And that area, there's supposed to be 2 rubber bushings, and I don't have them. So we're just going to make something happen, and it'll be okay. It's a 12A making on a good day down a hill with a tailwind, and this one has like 120 psi compression. This thing's maybe making 95 horsepower to the tires. I don't think we're going to rip the transmission out. So that's good. The next things I need to do too while I'm under there is I want to drain the trans fluid and drain the rear diff fluid, change that. And then also, because, hey, DJ, I'm looking out for you. And he's not watching these videos until he gets to see the car. He's turned off his YouTube. The wheel bearings don't have that much play, but there's a little bit of play. They do sound really good, though. So I want to pull the front wheel bearings off tonight and repack them with grease and put them back together just to make sure that those are good, which sucks because pulling the calipers off of these cars is a pain in the butt. So anyways, that's that, because you kind of got to disconnect the spindle and make a mess of it. So I'm just going to keep filming all the stuff I'm doing. I'm stoked that you guys are here watching the video, and I hope you guys are going to enjoy this because this is going to be super cool. It's going to get done super fast, and I'm not too worried. All of the aesthetic stuff, like the outside taillights, this, that, and the other, we can do that in a day. Calvin's coming down this weekend to help out on it, and then this windshield deal we'll probably tackle this weekend when it's warm, and I can let this sit out in the sun. And we need to paint. We need to freshen up a set of trim. So, and put the whole interior in it. So, yeah. Got a lot of work going ahead. So I'm just going to start working on stuff and let's get it going. Well, heck, everything feels really good in here. It's got a bunch of grease in there, too. This looks good. Put this back on. Tighten this baby up, and she's ready to ride. I'm going to do the other side, but we're going to go fix the transmission mount. Guys, quick break in the action. I wanted to show you what I came up with here. This is your trans cross member. Goes under the car. First gen deal, okay? 2 bolts in the center, bolt to the trans, little rubber mount. Typically, there are studs on the bottom of your first gen that then have some rubber bushings that fit on the top and bottom of this mount, sandwiches in, nice and insulated. Well, I don't have those laying around, besides ones that are in parts cars, and because this is not a super important thing, as long as this is in there, it's fine. So what I did is I took a subframe mount, subframe bushing for an RX7. I think Nick gave me these. I don't know. I acquired a set of subframe bushings for an RX7. I am not probably going to put them in my car, so I decided to sacrifice them. So I took one of them and I cut it into 3 pieces because I need 3 pieces. Okay? Just so happens that the diameter of said subframe bushing fits perfectly into the transmission mount. As much as this looks like a Clementine or something, it fits perfectly in there. Typically, this giant washer is what holds that in. So I'm going to sandwich this transmission bracket like so. You see orange on both sides. We're going to run the bolt through it with the big old bracket. Plenty of thread engagement, and I'm going to tighten this baby down. Transmission ain't going nowhere. Alright guys, here's where we stand after day 1, video 1 of revitalized Little Stu, and we have a lot of work left to do. So, I got the trans mount sorted. I went ahead and serviced both of the front wheel bearings. Good to go. I've got to grab some differential and some transmission fluid from the parts store tomorrow so I can change those out. And then in the next video, we are going to drive this thing. I'm going to get the heater core put in it real quick, and yeah, start putting the dash and stuff in it, and we can get this thing going. So get excited, because the next video we definitely got to at least fire it up, make sure that everything's good, because I'm worried, guys. I'm really worried that this thing has a leaking oil control ring. It smokes a lot, and I figured that was because of the stuck float, so we don't quite know if that's the truth or not. But if it does have a leaky oil control ring, guys, then we're going to be pulling an engine and rebuilding an engine this weekend, and Deal's Gap is in 5 days, because this car is going to the Gap. I'm telling you, it's going to the Gap. And for those of you who are going to go to the Gap, Tail of the Dragon, this is 2022, so if you're watching this later in the life of YouTube, this video is just up. Tail of the Dragon, Deal's Gap Rotary Rally, huge Rotary event out on the East Coast. It's at the Tail of the Dragon, North Carolina, Tennessee border. It's only like 4 hours from me. We try to go every year. Didn't go the last couple years, just some other stuff, but been 3 years, missed 2. Now we're going to start the streak again. We go rip the mountains, and this car's got to go. The black FD, which we just finished up, is ready to rip. It's right out here. My buddy's coming to pick it up. It's on my car. He's driving that to the Gap. It's ready to go, hopefully. We're going to put, 150, 200 miles on it just getting there, so it should be pretty good and tested, and then ready to rip. And then I am actually driving, because I'm not driving this car either, I'm driving my green RX-8. And the green RX-8 has a brand new set of Bilstein shocks chilling in the trunk, ready to get installed. That needs to happen before we go to the Gap too. So not only do we have to build this car in 5 days, but I have to do suspension on my car, and I have 1 weekend worth of work. Calvin's coming down to help. God bless Calvin for coming down to help. Be huge to get this thing done. If he can button up all the exterior stuff and door handles and windows and all that stuff, would be huge. While I can sort the mechanicals. Ideally, we don't have to rebuild an engine, but we will if we need to. I have a soft seal kit here. I have old control rings here, and it would literally be just to tear it down, clean it, soft seal kit it, put it back together. Ideally, we don't find things that are catastrophically wrong. So that's the deal there. Thank you guys very much for watching. I know this video is all over the place, and I'm excited this car is back. I'm excited at how good this car looks, and like I said, this will be the 3rd time, mad shout out to Calvin. He's my high school buddy, one of my best friends, and he does killer body work, and I love it that I'm able to, help him out, get him more experience, get his, I don't know if he has plans to start his own shop or do this and that or whatever at some point, but get his skill level bumping up and leveling up his skill and giving him work. So I'm excited. Thank you guys very much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one. Keep it rad. Little Stu is going to the Gap. Letty is sitting on the couch on my back porch. She finally got up. She didn't want to get up. She was looking at me. We were eye contacting across the way. What's up, dog? All right, this is a real question. This is a real good question. Jump if you think Little Stu is going to make it to the Tail of the Dragon. Hey, Letty, come on. Quit being distracted. You actually have to jump for this one. Jump. Hey, come here. Is Little Stu going to make it? What? Come on. You need to jump. You got to do this. Jump. There you go. Okay, Little Stu's going to make it. See, it's rigged. I can make her jump whenever I know what I want the answer to be. Thanks, guys, for watching. We'll catch you in the next one.